I've been a judge for 32 years, at least. First time I've ever had a horse in the courtroom, but I think we can manage it. Tell me what happened in this case.
Sir, on February 5th, we had Steve Olney out to shoe our horse Dusty, who's here in the courtroom. When he came out that day, he proceeded to shoe the horse while my wife went to pick up our youngest daughter from school. When my wife got back, Steve had cut the front hooves so short and rasped the walls so far in, the horse was in obvious pain.
Did you see this?
No, I saw it, Your
You
Honor.
saw it?
Yeah.
Well, then why don't you tell me?
Well, when I came home from picking my younger daughter up from school, his hooves were literally bleeding onto Steve's shoe, and I, brought it up to his attention, and he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. Basically, that's what it was all the time. He was fine, but it wasn't fine. He was shaking, literally shaking in pain.
How long did he bleed?
For about 2 minutes.
Did you do anything for him after that?
Well, after he finally finished his amazing shoeing,
No. Did you do anything for the horse?
No, he didn't. We administered...
No, not him. Did you have anything done for the horse?
Yes.
With the vet or
yes.
with any...
Yes, I did.
All right. You took him to a vet?
No, the vet came out to us.
When?
The following day the vet came out after the horse couldn't walk.
Okay. Pay him for shoeing the horse?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How much?
$65.
The horse is pigeon-toed with a recent attempt at corrective shoeing. Was that what you were trying to do?
It'd be better called therapeutic shoeing at this point. Corrective takes place in the first year of the horse's life,
Well, I've
maybe
never
first
heard
6
that.
months.
Your Honor, we've got the shoes. A normal pair of Dusty shoes, and the shoes, these are the ones he put on. You can see cut it so severely, there's like over a half an inch overlap in that.
Have you seen these, sir?
He made them.
Whichever pair that is,
Well, I
made.
want you to look at them and tell me if those are the shoes, one that you made and the other that he had on.
They were his special edition.
This shoe was one that I made.
Did the horse bleed before or after your shoeing?
I believe he had a bruise in his foot, and it did expel some blood out as I was working on it.
Okay. And is that because of the way you were shoeing it?
That is because if I could demonstrate on the horse, on
Sure,
his
go
legs
ahead.
himself.
Please don't go too near to the horse, thank you. I'd appreciate it.
From your position up there, you can see the top part of the leg down to the knee.
Yes.
Now, that is straight, and then his leg comes out this way and
Right.
curves back in at the hoof. I have to take that, drop a plumb line, so to speak, down and position that hoof under that leg. So therapeutically, I'm supporting the hoof, giving him a foundation to stand on.
How long have you been doing this kind of work, sir?
My career goes 15 years since I started working on
horses. Are you licensed? Are you licensed?
There is no licensing
Nope.
required, no.
All right. Fair enough.
Obviously.
The horse's condition, as he explained it, is that...
He's always been pigeon-toed, Your Honor, since we purchased him off our neighbour.
Okay.
And we never asked for any therapeutic shoeing or corrective shoeing whatsoever.
Were
He
you
said he was
paid for
going to
this
make
job,
an
sir?
adjustment.
Yes, I was.
How much?
$65.
Did you inform him? Did you inform him that...
Yes, I called him, Your Honor, the very day, and he didn't call me back till the next day. My elder daughter took the phone. She brought it outside to me where I was with the horse. We discussed it, and he jokingly turned around and told me he could sell me some easy boots, which
Some
a
what?
horse... Easy boots. They're called easy boots. You pad them out with gauze and you put medication in. For a horse this size to have to walk around in these is disgusting. You knew exactly what you did.
The objection I have to that is the timing and such. It was days before I called them and to find out what was going on because of the rumors getting around. The
No,
neighborhood.
Your Honor.
Wait,
He's
wait,
lying.
wait, wait,
Okay.
wait.
He's
Only one at
totally
a time,
lying.
one at a time.
Back to the $65, it was refunded to them.
This is your letter to her, sending the check for $65, which you apparently did not cash.
No, we didn't,
we
Your
didn't.
Honor, no.
Okay. And you, sir?
I'm a professional farrier.
Did you examine the horse?
Yes, sir. I treated it medically. The horse was, at that point, on February 10th, was a cripple horse. One step away from actually bleeding to death. The foot was cut so short, should he have stepped on a rock, he would in all probability have bled to death.
How long have you been a farrier?
25 years.
And is it true that you don't need a license to do this kind of work?
No, sir, but it certainly would be recommended that you are one or a graduate or certified.
And which are you, if any?
Both.
Both?
Yes, sir.
You want to give me your
Certification.
version of what happened here, sir?
Okay. Essentially, there are two parts. The horse exhibits a lot of pain I found out by
Yeah,
falling
not
in.
until you
by
started
falling-
Please don't
chewing.
interrupt him, ma'am.
Sorry,
by
Your
falling
Honor.
into, I'm there and I find this out. When I removed 4 shoeings previous, I'd shod 8 times total for them. On the 4th one, we decided to remove rear shoes. That's kind of a money strategy. It's less expensive if the horse can go barefoot. He experienced a
ridden.
tremendous amount of pain, and we ended up later that day putting on pads and shoes back on his feet. That was a clue. That doesn't make a pattern.
No, he even admitted when he came back and put the pads on, that he had to put those pads on because
Because
he'd
he
been
cut
cut
too
too
short again.
Did you ever say that, sir?
No.
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
I
We
round
both
up-
stood
I know,
there.
you
Okay,
both said
my-
he did, he said he didn't.
My experience is to leave the hooves longer, round them up so they do not chip. They are very brittle. When you pull the shoe off, they're very brittle. They need to be rounded up or they will snap and pieces will come off of them.
All right.
Because
Sir, I've got a picture of the condition of the hoof. It clearly shows what he did.
Let me see the picture.
This is taken in June. It occurred in February. You can see the deformity where he rasped the hoof so severely. That's where it's growing out.
Have you seen this
I'd
picture,
like
sir?
to, yes, I'd like to add, check the date there. That is June 3rd. The
Yes,
shoeing
I
was
just
on
wrote that.
February 5th.
And
That
that's-
was 4
that's
This is
months
after.
later.
This is the growth
Right,
period,
there's,
Your Honor, of the
3
hoof.
How do you
shoeing.
arrive at the $810?
We have actually $510 in receipted vet bills and medications. We can't, we have a lot of medications we used on our own. We also have $300 for loss of use for 2 months.
We were told that we probably couldn't ride
What is
him.
the loss of use?
That
Well, he
I
couldn't be ridden.
didn't have
We
a
got
horse to
told
ride.
off the vet he couldn't be ridden for up to 8 months possibly. But fortunately, we are able to ride him. We're bringing him slowly back, strengthening his legs because it totally bowed his legs. What he did, it's like taking a child's toe off. It bends his
This
leg. You can't do
$300
it.
is for loss of use for the two of you?
No, it's his horse, Your Honor.
It's your horse?
Yes, sir.
What do you weigh?
I weigh about 240.
You're not too heavy for that horse?
Not
No.
that big thing.
Okay.
I would make note that with a congenital problem like that, it's a mere matter of time before the horse would lose serviceability. And that is part of my operation, is making that horse
When you say
stay
it's a matter of
serviceable.
time, sir, what are you talking about?
There's no set time. It's a bone deformity.
I
So
appreciate
at
that. Give me a
time-
range.
Okay. In this case, what he did was concussion on his hoof, probably, on the outsides from being pigeon-toed, caused the bruising that started this whole affair.
All right.
No shoeing
May I
started
see your,
the
And
affair.
weight
see
on
your,
the horse.
just about, may I see your receipts, please?
Yes, sir. They're attached on that letter that you've
Oh,
got,
okay.
sir. Copies.
All right, what did you want to tell me, sir?
I helped with Karen with the horse. I looked at the hooves. They were cut way too short. I recommended she call the vet out.
What's your experience with shoeing, sir?
I'm not a farrier myself, sir. I do own my own horses. I've been riding since I was 5.
But how did you arrive at the conclusion that the hoofs were cut too short?
40 years experience.
Okay.
It's pretty obvious. The horse was in pain. He couldn't walk. It was an accident. I'm sure it wasn't malicious, but still and all, the horse was in obvious pain.
All right, we'll
That
take
horse
a-
could not walk.
Take a short recess. I'll come back, give you my decision.
The only thing that broke these two dogs apart was the fact that the Rottweiler ripped Walter's lip off.
She's hungry.
Walter was wailing and screaming and blood everywhere.
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Remaining seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
Well, the plaintiffs brought this lawsuit, so they have the burden of proving several things. They have to prove by a preponderance of the evidence, 1, that the defendant was negligent, 2, that this caused injury to the horse and damages to the plaintiff. And as far as I can see from the evidence that I've heard, the testimony of the one farrier who's had 25 years experience, the amateur person who with experience with taking care of horses and certainly his own, between the two of them as against the defendant's testimony, with the letter that you sent, sir, it's not exactly an admission against interest, but it's a, of course it's a gentlemanly letter, I will say that. You are showing concern for the horse, you're showing concern for the people, and that is as it should be. But it's sort of saying maybe I did something wrong. But I'm not basing my decision on the letter. I'm basing it primarily on the testimony of the 2 witnesses who've testified. I think that these shoes were too short, made the horse bleed, and caused damage to the plaintiffs. So they have shown me by written testimony, their receipts, plus oral testimony as to what their damages are. My judgment is for plaintiffs for $810.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
I fell into a trap, you may say, of there was something in that hoof stewing ahead of time. Some of their evidence showed that, which wasn't presented. But
The only way it could have possibly gone.
It was
the correct
clearly,
way.
it was open and shut. There was no question in our mind. He was in the wrong.
he made a decision on what he saw, I can see that, and I wasn't able to present enough information, and it's a tough subject. It's hard for him to understand without background knowledge and such.
It kind of gives everybody with animals that get injured the ability to be able to come forward and fight for what's right.
The Animal Court is now in session. The Honorable Joseph A. Wapner, Judge presiding.
I know you've all been sworn. I have read your complaint, sir. You claim the defendant's dog bit your dog.
That's correct, sir.
Where did this take place?
In my apartment building,
In the building itself?
right on the threshold of the door leading to the outside backyard. I have video that sort of somewhat recreated what happened. We see, this is like at the beginning of the day what happened. Walter's right by my side. I opened the door and then let him out into the backyard, as has been my custom for the past 6-7 years. Now this is what happened when I yelled, "Don't open the door." The door was open. The dog grabbed Walter, brought him in. This is how Walter normally lets himself in. The dog grabbed his nose, pulled him in, and the fight ensued there. I ran down the stairs. The only thing that broke him apart was the fact the Rottweiler ripped his lip off.
Your dog was not on a leash as it is now.
No, sir. He was in the backyard. He was in the enclosed backyard.
That backyard belongs to the defendants as well as to you for their use.
That's correct.
Okay. What kind of a dog is this?
She's a Rottweiler Akita mix.
Were you having the dog on a leash?
Yes.
What does that dog weigh?
She's about 90, 95 pounds.
You're a fairly large person.
Yes.
But are you strong enough to control that dog?
Yes. I walk her almost every day. If we're not together, he walks her, but when I walk her by myself.
Okay. Did you see what happened?
Absolutely.
Well, tell me.
I was walking down the hallway. We were running late that day, so we usually do take her on a walk, but because we were running late, I took her to the backyard so she could go to the bathroom. And I opened the door, and Walter, like he said, was probably waiting for Bruce to come in, and he probably came in because Abu never left my side. And when he said that he yelled at me, the hallway is very, very quiet. There's no way I could not have heard him if he yelled at me.
You didn't hear him?
No.
Has he ever bitten an animal before?
She had, to my recollection, she has bitten another dog
When?
that has been not on a leash.
You don't feel that she has dangerous propensities or is vicious?
Towards it, she's dog aggressive, but she also is dog friendly to dogs that she can get along with. Whenever Walter sees her in the hallway, Walter barks at her. He is defecated in front of our doorway. He has made it very clear to her that he does not like her.
Do you know that to be a fact, sir?
That's not true. That's not true at all. It is true. I mean, Walter is not liked not liked any dog. And in this particular instance, when she claims she can control the dog, obviously she couldn't, because the only thing that broke these two dogs apart was the fact that the Rottweiler ripped Walter's lip off. They broke apart, and Walter was wailing and screaming and bled everywhere. He rolled back outside. I went back up to comfort him, realized I had to call the vet right away, came running back in, saw the lip on the carpet. As you can see, the lip was not able to be attached. They tried. Walter was in in the vets for 5 days, and they tried repeatedly to attach the lip, and it never took.
All right, sir, give me your breakdown of your damages.
Okay, it was $1,600, $1,594 exactly, in vet bills. An estimate of between $966 and $1,281 for future reconstructive surgery, and the rest
Do you intend to have that done?
if I can afford it. You know, that's a substantial amount of money.
That's true. What else? What are the other
And
damages?
well, the damages are, you know, punitive damages that and exemplary damages that I know Your Honor knows the statutes here, and I've pulled some as well.
What statutes are you referring to?
Well, the LA Municipal Code, which says no person owning or having custody of a control of any dog, whether or not restrained by a leash, shall permit the dog to unlawfully assault, threaten, or menace any human being or other animal upon any public street, sidewalk, park, or other public property, or in or upon the premises of private property of another. In terms of the punitive damages, under this California Civil Code 3340, for wrongful injuries to animals being subjects of property committed willfully or by gross negligence in disregard of humanity, exemplary damages may be given. The photos I have here, the first two are Walter before the accident, and then the rest are after, and during the surgery.
You have some pictures too?
Yes.
What are those pictures of?
We have pictures.
Well, it's pictures of the doorway and pictures of the backyard that he says is enclosed.
And it's not. There
This
are
is
many
holes
ways.
in the fence, so Walter could get out of the fence. And there's been several close calls with Abu and Walter in the apartment building. He never has Walter on a leash. As you saw in the picture, Walter wasn't on a leash. And Abu,
What's Abu telling you?
she's hungry.
Yeah, for Poodle.
Well,
She's hungry. But had Walter been on a leash, this could never have happened. Look, they're 10 feet apart. She's more interested in food than Walter. Now, Walter, on another occasion, we came in from our walk outside and was in the hallway. And Walter barked at us, ran away, ran back up and down this hall. And here comes Bruce running, sorry, 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 you know, and grabs Walter. And even the morning of this incident, the first thing out of Bruce's mouth as he's running down the stairs is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I left Walter in the backyard. And then he
Did you say that, sir?
I have no recollection of that, Your Honor. I have no recollection at all of that.
And then he saw that Abu had Walter and was like, oh, let go. And by that time, by the time it took him to come down those 20 stairs, they were already apart. So it wasn't a mauling, it wasn't an attack. Walter was coming in, Abu was standing there with the door, and they just got together.
How long have you lived there?
We've lived there for approximately a year.
1 year?
Your Honor, not a mauling. He had over 40 stitches. He was in the hospital for 5 days. And, a dog this vicious should not be around without a muzzle if it has a propensity to that kind of violence, which it obviously does, as you can see.
Rottweilers are very protective, and Abu could have been protecting Brenda from Walter because Walter has chased people up and down the halls, has bitten past people that lived in the apartment building.
Your Honor, that's just not true. And
all right, okay. I think I've heard enough. Take a short recess. I'll come back and give you my decision.
Remain seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
First thing I want to say is that I have great sympathy for what happened here and for you and your dog. But whether it's fortunate for one and unfortunate for another, a judge cannot decide a case on the basis of sympathy, prejudice, or passion. If the defendants knew that this dog had killed or maimed animals in the past, you might be able to prevail, at least 50-50, because you were negligent in allowing the dog to be off a leash all by itself, for whatever purpose, it was all by itself and not on a leash. One of the sections you cited, or you cited two sections to me, which are both the leash law, which you violated.
Well,
No, wait, sir, let's get one thing straight.
I'm sorry.
We've tried the case, I've heard the evidence, now I'm going to make a decision. The point is that you were negligent in allowing this to happen. And two of the sections, as I say, that you've quoted, menacing dogs and restraint of dogs, are both the leash law, which you violated. If you show that this dog had dangerous propensities, then you have to show the defendant was negligent in the way, or the defendants were negligent in the way they handled their dog. But having a dog on a leash and walking out a door to take the dog for a walk is not being negligent. The other sections you cited to me about double the damage, it's the owner of livestock or poultry that's killed by a dog that you get damages. So that's not applicable here because we don't have livestock that are killed. Another section you cited about possessor of a dog that harbors the dog or other animal, and that kills bovine, animal, swine, horse, mule, burro, sheep, Angora goat, or cashmere goat, or poultry. Not involved here. It's a dog. And it certainly isn't willful. She didn't allow the dog to willfully attack your dog. She didn't say, sick him, go get him. That'd be willful. My judgment is for the defendant.
No, our dog only bites dogs that come at him.
A pretty sorry state of affairs when that's the only consolation you can give. Hey, my dog didn't kill your dog.
If I couldn't control her, Bruce, probably.
The only thing that
Should be a
separated them
lot.
was the fact that the lip got ripped off.
He doesn't learn anything. He just says, you know what, I'm going to put a sign up so nobody can use the backyard while Walter's in there because I'm selfish and I want to keep my dog and let it run free and I don't want to change because I've lived there for 8 years.